Hello duelists, Rustmarrow here, and today we are going to be opening the brand new Yugioh OCG Starter Deck 2018. But today, before we get into this opening, I'd just like to point your attention to this marker on the top right. Let me just zoom in for you guys. Basically, it states that for the first print of this starter deck, we'll be able to obtain a 20th anniversary token, as well as have an extremely low chance to get a special rare legacy card from the past. So here's hoping we manage to pull that super rare card. Alright, so let's start with a look at the playmat that comes with this starter deck. So it's pretty simplistic. It doesn't have any monsters printed on it. It just has a typical like orange Cyberse Link pattern background, probably to follow the color scheme of the brand new Transcode Talker that comes with this set. Next up, here's the 20th anniversary token we managed to pull from this starter deck, and it's actually going to be a token of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX protagonist, Juda Yuki. So I'm pretty happy with this. He's definitely one of my more favorite protagonists out of all of the main characters of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I'm not sure if you guys can see, but basically that's the only card in this packet, so I'm assuming that we didn't manage to pull the extremely rare card, but that's alright. Now, getting into the juicy part with the starter deck proper, we're starting off with the brand new boss monster, the Earth Attribute Transcode Talker. So first of all, design-wise, I think it's really cool, although I don't think that's saying much because I like the designs of pretty much all the Code Talkers. But I like how unique Transcode Talker is in the sense that he's like a long-range type of Code Talker together with his like sniper rifle and bulky armor, which is quite refreshing compared to the other more physical Code Talkers. Effect-wise, similar to the other Code Talkers, you're going to need 2 or more effect monsters to link summon this card. This co-link card and the monsters co-linked to it will all gain 500 attack and cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. Once per turn, you can target a link 3 or lower Cyberse link monster other than Transcode Talker and special summon it to one of the zones this card points to. And during the turn you activate this effect, you can't special summon monsters except Cyberse monsters. So first of all, I really like how the effect sort of is in line with the name of the monster. Like Transcode, you think of like transportation, maybe teleportation. So together with the effect of like bringing out another monster from another Cyberse from the grave, it's sort of like he's transporting an ally to help him from the network. Yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. But effect-wise, I don't think it's that amazing. Like, it's not that great of an effect, though I think it can be quite useful for like quickly establishing mutual links on your field, which can be quite tedious and resource consuming normally. So I think ideally you'd want to like get another monster that also has a mutual link related effect and benefits from mutual links, so you get the shared benefits from both Transcode Talker and the new monster. So up next, we've got this monster Pentastag, a brand new Link 2 monster for Cyberse. So while I really like the design of this brand new card, I can't say it's very amazing. Basically, as long as this card is in a monster zone on your field, all of your Link monsters are able to inflict piercing damage. So I feel like it's, you know, that typical starter deck card that, I mean, won't be really relevant in like the meta game and stuff like that. Yeah, but really cool design though. Whoops. So up next, I think we are gonna go through the Link deck, reprints. So we are starting out with Honeybot from last year's starter deck, as well as Link Spider. I can't believe it's been a year since I opened that already. And we're ending off with Link Kuribo, which is a pretty nice reprint for this deck, I feel. Alright, and now we are going on into the brand new normal deck cards. So we are starting off with this brand new Cyberse normal monster Rhydron. So just a simple high attack attacker beater for the deck. And now we've got Text Changer. Basically, Text Changer's effect is once per turn when one of your monsters is targeted for an attack, you can negate that attack, then special summon a Cyberse normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard. Pretty interesting and useful, I guess, like also being able to like negate the attack as well as get more resources out of it, which can always be helpful for like the resource heavy Cyberse deck. But once again, similar to Pentastag, it just feels like, you know, that typical addition like support card that they like to give in like starter decks, which won't be like really relevant or interesting competitively. Up next, we've got a super rare card in the form of Widget Kid. So for Widget Kid, when this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a Cyberse monster from your hand in defense position. You can only use the effect of Widget Kid once per turn. I mean, yeah, basically typical stuff. And oh yes, this ultra rare right here, Cyberse White Hat. When I first saw this design in the leaks for the starter deck, I was like, oh my god, I really need this Cyberse for my collection, because it's such a cool looking card. And I think it's basically on par with Transcode Talker in the sense that I think this together with Transcode Talker are basically the only like 2 new fresh and interesting cards that this starter deck really adds to Cyberse. So let's get into its effect. If you control 2 or more monsters with the same type, which I assume for most of the cases will be Cyberse, you can special summon this card from your hand. And you can only special summon a Cyberse Whitehead once per turn this way. When this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon, you can make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1000 attack until the end of this turn. So I think the most interesting thing about this card is that basically even though it's Cyberse, it's meant for general link summon support. So I think you can probably use it in like Trickstar decks as well and Goki decks especially, like basically any deck that specializes in like basically spamming its key archetype with monsters of the same type, basically. Other than that, I think this card can also be potentially quite a useful utility card in Xyz decks that like to play around rank 6. So that'll be the ultra rare Cyberse Whitehead. I think we are going into reprints now, starting off with Bitron, Draconet, I mean, that old combo, right? Ram Clouder, yep. Link Slayer, getting all the old cards, Flamvel Guard, Barbatos, or is it Barbaros in this? Cyber Dragon, Exarion Universe, Evil Swap Mandragora, Witch of the Black Forest, Sangan, Marshmallow. I mean, they included this in last year's one. Raiko of the Light Swan, Battle Fader, Swift Scarecrow, and Effect Veiler. And I assume next we are moving on to the spell, starting off with a brand new continuous magic spell for the Cyberse. So this card is called Cybernet Recover, and basically if a link monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can target one monster in your graveyard except the link monster and special summon it in defense position. But of course you can only use this effect of Cybernet Recover once per turn. Even so, I think this can be quite an interesting deck to try out with Cyberse, because from my experience with Cyberse so far, it's been quite difficult to sort of like maintain my resources because of all the resources I need to put in order to link summon. So I think this will be an interesting card, although not too overly great or powerful in being able to maintain the resources for a Cyberse deck. Alright, and here we've got Cybernet Universe, the old field spell, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, a Mystical Space Typhoon, my favorite, Book of Moon, another one of my favorites, Forbidden Lands, United We Stand, Pot of Avarice, Pot of Duality. Yeah, we are really getting, I think this is like all the typical starter deck cards. Burden of the Mighty, yeah, last year's deck had it too, and Supply Squadron. And now we are moving on to the traps. So this card is Cybernet Regression, and basically its effect is, if you special summon a link monster, you can target one card on the field in order to destroy it and then draw a card. And you can only activate one Cybernet Regression a turn. So I think what's cool about this card is that while it comes in the Cybernet starter deck, I mean Cyberse starter deck, similar to like a Cyberse Whitehead, this card can also basically be used as general utility for any link summoning decks, and I think its effect is pretty interesting and quite powerful as well. Call of the Haunted. Of course, Revolver's trump card Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulsory Evacuation Device, Demon's Chain, I'm not sure what it is in English, and Dark Bribe. And that'll be it, I think, yes, for this starter deck 2018. So what do I think of this deck as a whole? Well, I mean, it is a starter deck, and I think as you guys have seen, a lot of the new cards of the lower rarities aren't like very interesting. They're just the typical like support cards they like to put in a starter deck, although there are quite a lot of like reprints of utility spells and traps that I think will be really helpful in this deck. But as for the new cards, the only things that I think are like potentially fresh and maybe interesting to look at will be Transcode Talker, Cyberse Whitehead, as well as the new trap card, Cyberse Regression. But yeah, if you guys watched my opening video earlier this month of the brand new structure deck R Curse of the Dark, you can see like the big difference comparing the brand new card choice and effects of that deck compared to this starter deck, because like since this is a starter deck, like the ones before it, the cards printed here and are chosen aren't really meant for like any meaningful interaction. They're just there to sort of like support each other in order to like put up a good fight, but like not really like produce any like a meaningful synergy and like a creative explosion of effects in order to like further your advantage competitively. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please do give this video a like and please leave a comment in the comment section down below letting me know what you guys feel about this brand new awesome Transcode Talker and whether you'll be picking up this starter deck 2018 for yourself, whether it comes out in the OCG or TCG depending on your region. And of course, do remember to subscribe to this channel for all of the new Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG releases on the day of release. Up next in the month of April, we'll actually be receiving the next booster pack in the Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS series, Cybernetic Horizon, featuring the brand new Ritual Cyberse monster, Cyberse Magician, which I'm super looking forward to seeing. Yeah, and that'll be coming out on April 14th, so do subscribe to make sure you guys don't miss that. And with that, hope to see you guys in the next Yu-Gi-Oh! Video. Let's access the spinning, swirling data storm, and with the wind our hearts are made.